Hi there, friend. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 10 of the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. Today on the podcast, we visit with Shane Holman, a cowgirl that wears many hats. And y'all, she wears them well. She's a wife, mother, businesswoman, and fashion icon with a diverse background in the equine industry. Shane's roots in the Western way of life run deep, and whether she's in New York City checking out the latest and greatest fashion trends or at the practice pen with her family, she loves how her position as Ariat International's Senior Director of Global Western Trend and Market Development combines her passion for fashion and love for the Western way of life. Not only does Shane work for Ariat, but she's also the owner of Envie Boutique. We talk about how she never gave up on her dream of working in the fashion industry, juggling the work-life balance, and why it's so important to find a job you are truly passionate about. She even shares some exciting news about NFR 2020. You guys, I know you're going to enjoy this episode. Let us know what you think. Please leave a review, and let's get started. Hey y'all, and welcome. You're listening to the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Dawn Johnson, small-town cowgirl with Southern roots, blazing a trail as a Midwest ranch wife, mama, and businesswoman. The mission of Cowgirl Confessions is to share the wonderfully wild and Western life stories of cowgirls from all walks of life. We'll talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to navigating careers, cowboys, kids, and cattle. Legendary cowgirl Dale Evans said it best. Cowgirl is a pioneer spirit, a special brand of American courage. The cowgirl faces life head-on, lives by her own lights, and makes no excuses. Cowgirls take stands. They speak up. They defend the things they hold dear. A cowgirl might be a rancher, a barrel racer, a bull rider, or an actress. But she's just as likely to be a checker at the local Winn-Dixie, a full-time mother, a banker, an attorney, or an astronaut. If you're into wet saddle blankets, talks with God, buckets full of laughter, and the life lessons learned in the process, kick off your boots and settle in. I pray these stories encourage, empower, and give you just the leg up you need. Here's to embracing the cowgirl state of mind, no matter how wild and Western life may get along the way. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm thrilled to have Shane Holman here with us today. Shane, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great platform.
Oh, I'm just so excited to get to share you with all of our listeners. You have such a multifaceted background, I feel like, in the Western industry, anything from fashion to rodeo. You're a cowgirl yourself. I mean, just you've got a huge story, and I know we want to unpack all of it today, but I hope people will come and follow you just so you're super inspiring to me with how you juggle everything as a wife and a mom and a businesswoman and an owner of your own boutique. So let's just kind of dive in and talk about your upbringing and how you got your start with horses and then kind of where that led you to.
Well, thank you for that introduction. That was very kind to you. But yeah, it is always a juggle, right? I mean, all of us as moms and wives and as working women, we have so much to juggle. So it's always about time management. But basically, I've grown up living the Western lifestyle my entire life. I started riding when I was 3 years old, and I was fortunate enough my parents bred horses and showed horses. So it was just in my blood and how I was raised. And I've done everything from pleasure horses to reining cow horse to show jumping. I did hunter jumpers for a long time. I even did vaulting back in the day.
Wow.
And I did rodeo, and I rodeoed professionally and barrel raced, and then I switched to cutting. So I've kind of done it all. I switch every so often when I get bored doing something. I just basically love horses and love competing, and whatever it is, whatever that challenge is, it's really fun and inspiring to me. Then, I've always just shown and competed and rodeoed, and it's just in my blood. And so when I went to college, I continued to do it. And then afterwards, and actually that's how then I was able to meet my husband and his family, and it all blended together. We could share that passion together, and then went from there.
Oh my goodness. I knew that you had been in the cutting as well as some of the reining cow horse, but I didn't realize that you had even done the vaulting and some of the hunter jumper. Um, that is so, so cool. And I wonder, like, was there any common theme through all of that since you jumped, from one to the next that you found that like kind of kept you centered no matter what you were competing in?
I think it's just the horses, the people, the lifestyle, right? People that share that love for horses and for the sport and for equestrian all kind of have the same morals and values. And I think it really just brings everyone together. There's a synergy. Yeah, when I was a kid, I did vaulting, and then I switched to hunter jumpers and did that for a long time. And, the English and Western world are so different, but you still have that same competitive spirit. You still have the same passion for the horse and appreciation for, just all that goes with showing, competing, keeping up with your horse. I even did pleasure horses. I used to do Western pleasure. I did hunter pleasure. I did English. I even did saddle seat. So I've kind of done the gamut of everything you can do on a horse. I'd say by far my favorite are probably barrel racing and rodeo, and then cutting. Cutting's my absolute favorite, and that's been the biggest challenge. Definitely with horsemanship and showmanship, it's definitely been the most challenging, I'd say.
Well, I have no doubt that through all of this, you were looking super fashionable, because that's one thing that like I look to you and you always, you're the one that when you walk in the room, it's like, wow, like she just, you look amazing. You have such an eye for fashion. And so that kind of brings me to my next question. I would love if you could just share with us kind of how you got to your role now in Ariat. I know you've been with them for several years. That's how you and I have met, is through working at Ariat, and then how that is carried over into your boutique as well.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you again. That's so kind. I would say I've always had a passion for fashion. Ever since I was little, I wanted to wear the latest and greatest, and I wanted to move to New York City, and I wanted to work for Vogue. And I was determined to work in the fashion industry. So when I was in school at Cal Poly, I was studying business, agricultural business actually, and I decided to do an internship. I wanted to go work for a magazine. We've all seen that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, and that's what I wanted to do. So I moved to LA and I got a job for a magazine doing an internship. And so it was styling photo shoots, working with up and coming celebrities. And then I also worked retail on the side just to make some money. So I kind of had this fun experience, and I was actually working in Beverly Hills. And so when you work in a retail store there, you're styling celebrities for photo shoots or for events or appearances. So I really got a taste of that and what that kind of like Hollywood life is. So after interning for the magazine, obviously I went back to school, went back to college. And after graduating, I was like, okay, I need a job that combines fashion, business. What am I going to do? And so the opportunity for Ariat was there. I started 2 weeks after I graduated, and I've been there ever since. So I've worked there for 15 years now. And I've just worked my way up. I started at the bottom in the marketing department as a marketing coordinator, and I switched over to the product department. And what I do is product merchandising. So I come up with product ideas and I run the business. So I work with the designers, work with the developers. We work together, collaborate what we're going to build for the season. And then I watch how it's selling through and kind of interpret that, watch the analysis, and then come up with new needs. So I'm going to horse shows, I'm going to rodeos, I'm talking to consumers and finding that white space, seeing what products we need that are right for our competitors. So really my journey at Ariat has been a dream come true. It's the perfect match for me. It combines business, it combines fashion, and that's all of my passion. And so my biggest advice to people is make sure you do something that you love, that you get up every day and you want to go to work. And I love that. I love going to work for Ariat, and I highly recommend it. I always am like, hey, come work for this company. It's an amazing place to work. So for me, it's just been a perfect match, and it combines all the things that I love: fashion, business, and the Western lifestyle. So I forgot to mention that. So it really is kind of the true match.
Yeah, well, and your job is so important. I mean, because being on the sales side at Ariat, you're like that middle link, because in order for somebody like me to be able to go out and sell product confidently, it's great to know that we've got somebody out there like doing the legwork that, for one, really has a deep understanding of the Western industry, just kind of that iconic American feel and what all of that embodies, but then making something functionable for a rider, if it's not just going to be fast fashion. And I feel like that's one of our biggest strengths at Ariat. And I'm so proud of that there's people like you that have grown up in the lifestyle that get it, but also understand like, we want to look cool while we're competing too.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Ariat's all about innovation and bringing forth new technologies, but we need to do it in a stylish way. We need to look good doing it, and it needs to be authentic. So that's part of my job, is making sure that we're making authentic boots for real riders, real performance needs, and then on top of it, being cute, cool, trendy, stylish, and then blending all of our innovation and technology. So it's a fun puzzle to put together. But yes, absolutely, you have to stay true to who you are and who our consumer is. And at the end of the day, maybe the person doesn't own a horse, but they still appreciate that Western lifestyle and they embrace that iconic spirit of the West. So I think, whether you're providing a product for Jackie Hobbs, a world champion breakaway roper, or someone who's going dancing at a honky tonk, whatever it is, they still embrace that spirit of the West and appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so I'm wondering, Shane, like when you're building this product and working with the teams, you said, you get inspiration from a lot of places, but what's inspiring you most right now? If we were to look at your vision board, what would kind of be there?
Well, I make vision boards every season, and I work with a very talented team of designers, and they have very creative ideas and vision boards as well. The fun thing is you combine what you see at the horse shows, the rodeos, all of the local events. You travel all around, you pull all that together, see what the riders are wearing, see what they're talking about. Then you look at New York, you look at Europe, you look at Fashion Week. Then you go to downtown LA and look at what the streetwear is, and you combine all of it together. Because again, we want to continue to push forward, always be trend leaders, be trend right. So we have to think outside of our market, but then interpret it back for our Western consumer. So make sure that it's still right for our consumer, right? Because we can't go too far out there and too crazy, or our Western girls like, whoa, hey, not me. But mainstream and Western are getting so much closer that you can blend elements. And so that's what's fun. I might see a studded shoe from Gucci going down the runway, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to use a stud like that, but I'm going to put it on a cowboy boot, interpret it to be right for the Western consumer, and still make sure that it's authentic for her. And that's what moves the market forward, right? That's what it's like, ooh, that's a cute boot on the shelf, or I love that. So you just have to marry all these elements without going too far.
Yeah, I just got a pair of some of our new boots with studs on them, and I'd had a pair for like 6 years in my closet, and they were just kind of timeless though. And I was like, it's time for a brown pair. But yeah, I'm excited to see all the new product. And if you could just kind of quickly walk through for somebody who's not familiar with how the process is behind the scenes, because like right now I'm selling fall 2021, and we're in fall 20, but what's that process like for you from a timeline standpoint, developing this?
Yes, absolutely. We're working on 4 seasons at a time, and we work way ahead of the time. So in one season, I'm brainstorming, I'm shopping, I'm looking for trends. So I'm coming up with ideas. In another season, I might be looking at designs. In another season, I'm looking at prototypes and samples and perfecting them to get ready for the marketplace. And then another season, I'm training you guys how to go out and sell it. And then I'm watching how you guys are selling it and performing it, because we have to be reactive. So if you're selling a product and it is skyrocketing through, I'm knowing, okay, we're doing good here, right? Sometimes it's like throwing darts. There might be something that's a loser, a failure, and that's okay. You just keep trying. And at some point, you're going to have a lot of winners, but not everything always sticks, and that's all right. You just keep trying. So yeah, it's just juggling all these different seasons, and then it's a long process between them. And that's what's so fun, is that you're not doing the same thing every day. You're always rotating onto the next part.
Absolutely. It's never boring, that's for sure. And so that I'm wondering, Shane, what are some strategies that you use, to, for one, just like keeping kind of all that straight, just the 4 seasons at a time, but then also how does that carry over into balancing and juggling, as I like to call it? Because I don't know that I ever find a real great balance, but I'm constantly juggling, travel and being a wife and a mom and a business owner. What are some strategies or advice you have for people listening that are trying to do all of those things, or maybe a handful of them, just like you?
Work-life balance is probably the most challenging thing. And I don't know that I'm the best at it. My husband might say different. But yes, it's challenging. You just have to really have good time management and really kind of almost have buckets. And I have buckets where it's like, okay, husband, children, religion, work, whatever it is, you just got to make sure that you're giving time to all those buckets and not forgetting something. And we all know there might be times at work where it is so crazy and hectic, but you have a 3-year-old at home and you've got to go home and you've got to take care of your husband, you got to take care of your kids, got to get them to practice, got to get them out to their rodeo or whatever it is. So it's challenging. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of my biggest stresses day in and day out, is how to do it all and how to get everything done. And I always say there's not enough hours in the day. And obviously you got to make me time too, right? So that's how I keep my sanity. It's like, okay, I got to go to the gym for an hour of the day or something just to like get my mind free. But I think the best thing is just really time management and trying to check all the boxes throughout the day. Like you said, I also have a business. I have a boutique that I'm running. For that, honestly, I have good people that help me because I don't have the time to focus on it. So I have a consultant, I have managers, I have a really good staff that can take care of that because that's not my number one priority. So it's a fun hobby for me and I enjoy it, but I have all these other buckets that come ahead of that.
Well, it's just really encouraging to hear you, talk about, for one, how important those buckets are, making sure that you set aside time for each of those, and that it's okay to ask for help and put good people in place that can get the job done. And I think it's so important because they're blessing your life, adding to your life by being able to take that off of your plate, but at the same time, I have no doubt like you're blessing their life because they have a job and they're getting to lean into something that they enjoy doing. So I'm the world's worst at not always asking for help soon enough. It's something I'm constantly working on, but I find that when I do finally hand something over and delegate, from the smallest to the largest task, it just makes life run more smoothly. So I don't know why that's so hard for me, but encouraging to hear you say that that's something that you do.
Yes, absolutely. It's the biggest challenge, I think, is just juggling it. And I think that's why they say moms are superheroes sometimes, right? Like you just get it done. I don't know how it happens, but it does.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk more because you have a beautiful family. You have so much rodeo and kind of Western involvement with your family. I would love for you to share with us just more about them and some things that you're really looking forward to at the end of 2020 that's coming up with them.
Yes, absolutely. My family, we are blessed to have a rodeo family, and they've been in the ranching and rodeo world their entire lives. So it's amazing. So actually for 2020, we're super excited. We're headed to the NFR this year. My son, Lefty Holman, made it for the first time in the saddle bronc riding. So we are pumped, and we are headed to Arlington for 14 days, which is crazy. Let me just tell you, packing at our house right now. That's insane. But yeah, we're really, really proud of him, and it's a huge accomplishment. So he'll be there in the bronc riding. My daughter, also Billy, she works for Ariat now, and she's also an accomplished rodeo cowgirl. She's been to the college rodeo finals and was reserve champion in the barrel racing, and so that's in her blood. And both kids have been multi-time all-around cowgirl and cowboy at the high school level and to nationals and all of that. And then I have 2 little kids, and they're actually, one of them's 3, and he's into broncs and it's been kind of riding the ponies and stuff, and he thinks he's bronc riding. My 8-year-old used to be in it, but he's just into baseball and football now. So, but yeah, my husband, he's a great support system, and it's been in his blood. His dad went to the NFR, his uncles went to the NFR, his mother, Sally Freeman, she passed away this year, unfortunately, but she's been kind of the main key that's kept us together and kept us rodeoing, went to every single high school rodeo. So that's a big loss for us, but absolutely still a main part of our lives, everyday staple. And my husband's sister is Quincy Freeman, so Rodeo Quincy. So as you guys know, her and her brand has been phenomenal, but definite rodeo blood all throughout our family on all sides. So really
that's
strong.
going to be, it's just so exciting that it'll be Lefty's first year competing there. And
Yes.
I can't imagine what packing's like, because just packing for myself to go to NFR is, but having the whole family. But I know that you will get it done and you'll all look fabulous. I can't wait to see pictures and everything. What trends do you expect to be kind of popular out there at NFR this year, with it being especially not in Vegas this year? Do you think that's going to change it up at all?
Well, I'm a little worried how it's all going to go with all the COVID guidelines. Things are going to change, but I still believe that the girls are going to bring it with their style. I saw some pictures of the PBR World Finals a few weeks ago, and girls were dressed up, and actually the Ariat Dixon boot was quite the hit there, so that was exciting. But I think people are going to go all out. I mean, we've kind of been cooped up since March, so it's a great time to go show your expression, show your individuality, and show that style. So I think we're going to see a lot of different mixtures. We'll always probably see the sequins and the glitz, and then I think we'll see some like more Americana, classic looks. I think we're just going to see leopard, cow print, some bright colored hats. I think we'll see a lot of hats out there, a lot of booties. There's just so much. And because it's in Texas and probably a little chilly, maybe some cool fur coats and fun wild jackets. I'm excited. I know I'm packing all my outfits and trying to plan them out right now. And there's some pressure to have some good outfits out there.
Oh, I have no doubt you're going to look fabulous. I can't wait to see all of it. And that helps, kind of give us an idea that, sky's the limit. Just because it's not in Vegas doesn't mean that we need to try to not be dressing for the occasion. I mean, it's the NFR. So
that's how I think. Go for it. I mean, we've all been cooped up with all these guidelines and rules, and I think it's time to just go show off.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us today. I have a few rapid fire questions, and then I want us to let everybody know where they can connect with you and follow you. So how do you take your coffee?
I actually don't drink coffee. I've never liked the taste. So I drink hot chocolate or tea.
Okay, look at you. So, I mean, do you have any caffeine that you need to function with, or you just are, I mean, you can handle it?
No, I have a bad addiction to Coca-Cola. I've been drinking soda for way too long, and I drink way too much of it. So that's where I get it.
Okay, Coca-Cola is your caffeine choice. All right. What is the wildest thing you've ever had to patch up with duct tape, baling wire, or bungee cords?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question. I would say our horse trailer one time. We were going down the road and the back door busted up. So we definitely had to use some bungee cords and make sure that the ropes were all tied in to keep everything together.
Awesome. And then who is somebody that you would consider to be like the most influential cowboy or cowgirl in your life at this point?
Ooh, that is a tough question. I'm going to say my late mother-in-law, Sally Freeman. She has been such an inspiration to me and everyone in our family. She's really just a rock solid, tough woman that was so stylish, always put her best foot forward, always had her red lipstick on and her high heel boots. And I mean, she would add layers to her heels to make sure she was even taller. But yet the toughest cowgirl there was. I mean, if there's a 3-year-old or 2-year-old out there that's bronky, she's the first to get on it and, lope it down for you. So I would say definitely Sally Freeman, and she's really missed in our family, but her legacy lives on with all of us.
I never had the opportunity to meet her, but obviously have, watched from afar from years. And like you said, she is just really an iconic woman for the Western industry, cowgirl through and through. And I love that. I love what a lasting legacy she's not just on your family, but for the Western industry as a whole.
Yeah, and one night at the NFR, it's going to be her birthday, December 8th. So all of us in the family, the nieces, nephews, grandkids, all of us are going to wear Mustang Sally shirts with a big red rose and leopard and red lipstick. So we're going to do a little tribute to her, but you can see it through our entire family. All the grandkids still, embrace that fashion and everything. So she's a true trendsetter and style icon and just all over legend.
I love that. Love that, Shane. It gives me like goosebumps just thinking about her and everything. And so, where can everybody go to find you, keep up with you, and especially check out all your outfits? I'm sure you'll post them during the NFR.
Yes, absolutely. So our boutique is Envie Boutique Visalia on Instagram and Envie Boutique on Facebook. And so that's probably the best place to see it. You can follow mine, but mine isn't as exciting. I keep it private because I have so many pictures of my kids, but mine's Shane_Holman, I think. But definitely on Envie Boutique Visalia, we'll be posting all the outfits there and really showcasing kind of the looks and other people in our family as well.
Awesome. I'll be sure to put that in the show notes. And again, Shane, I just so admire, what you stand for, how you represent the cowgirl, both in New York or if you're at home in the saddle or at a rodeo. Just thank you for all you do for our Western industry. And I look forward to following along and seeing what's next for Shane Holman.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me. And this is such an exciting platform that you're doing and sharing all this. And I appreciate you and all your work that you're doing with Ariat. And same thing, like you're very authentic and iconic and always have great style. And I really appreciate any of your feedback that you always have. And you have great relationships with all of our accounts too. So I really appreciate you too.
Awesome. Well, girlfriend, thanks again. You know how to make my day, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time with me on the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm so glad y'all stopped by. If you could take a moment to share this episode and tag us on social media, I'd be happier than a cowgirl in a sea of buy one, get one vintage turquoise. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. New episodes will be released bi-monthly. Please leave us a review if you feel so led by going to iTunes. Your feedback will really help us breed the idea of grabbing life by the horns with a cowgirl state of mind into women across the globe. Some that may have never even had the privilege to throw their leg over a horse, but could most certainly use the cowgirl state of mind while navigating life. Thanks again, y'all. Until next time, keep pursuing your dreams with that all go and no woe mentality. Remember, you're writing a story that's worth saddling up for, sister.